laughing and I'm homeless. I don't have anywhere to go. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, this video might get your girl in some serious trouble. Like, I might get a phone call after this is published. But I mean, YOLO, them can't beat me again. Look how far I am. So this video, as the title below says, is going to be a story time on the time I got kicked out of Danii-Slo household. We're here. Now, if any of my mother's co-workers are watching this, no, she's not a terrible parent. At the time, she was going through things, I was going through things, and our relationship wasn't what it is now, which is a lot more loving and healthy and whatever. I guess it's because I left. But my mother, don't get me wrong, guys, throughout this video, this is a disclaimer, Danii-Slo is a wonderful parent and her child turned out pretty okay. A little kinks, a little bugs are here and there, but I turned out pretty okay. So I'll forever be grateful to my mother for the way she raised me. All right. Now, let me set the scene for you guys. The year was rough. A young Danii-Slo was injured. I had a shoulder injury at the time, very painful, very tough time for me at this point in time. I'm still doing track and field. Actually, this is what I would call probably, I was in the heights of my track and field career or high school career at the time. And boop, your girl get injured, boop, our hamstring. I strained my hamstring and something had gone drastically wrong in my shoulder one day when I was lifting. And boom, the girl had physio weekly. I was on weekly physio. At this point in time, guys, if you know the high school that I went to, we're not sponsored. So in Jamaica, high schools get sponsored by Puma, Nike, Adidas, whichever way you want to pronounce it. And those schools would kind of like cater or fund their track and field program. As for my school, we might be rich in some people's eyes, but track and field wise, we're broke. We don't have no money. We don't have that. We didn't have that. We never had that over there. So everything that we did was funded from our very own pockets. You get what I'm saying? This is the worst time for me to get injured because guess what? I had that year, the most expensive year for me, by the way. I was graduating that year. Graduation costs. I was sitting my first set of regional exams that year. It was just, that money was this. Just dishing out money. Boys and Girls Champs was, I think, about 2 months away. And I got injured over the winter break. And just to paint the scene for you guys, Danii-Slo, I was running Celia a check here. I was running up Celia a bill. Like, I was running her up a bill. When I really think about it, that year was really, really expensive for me. So, getting injured, not only did it take a negative effect on me, but it also fried her pockets at the time because we didn't have much help at the time in terms of like addressing injuries and getting treatment and stuff like that. And if you live in Jamaica, you know those things can get all the way up here. Like, physiotherapy in Jamaica is mad expensive. Anyways, one school morning, everything just went downhill. So it started off with strike one. I woke up late. But the thing is, she also woke up late. So I know she was mad at me. But I know she was also mad at she. Because we both woke up late that morning. So that's strike one. So in the mornings, she's upset. She is on it that morning because she's so mad. She's mad at me. She's mad at herself. She's mad at the clock. She's mad at God. She's mad at everybody. Because one, it's also very early in the morning because I get to school at 5:30 in the morning because she works really, really far from the city where we live. I had to go to school super early. She had to get to work super early. Nobody is happy in the mornings. I'm not a morning person. She's not a morning person. And yeah. And forget about the whole, talk out your emotions and the healthy relation and put all that family matters things aside, okay? You see that? That only exists in Full House. I'm in a Caribbean household. We don't do feelings in the Caribbean. Now that I've painted or mindsets at the time, remember, somebody stressed over here, Seals is stressed over here. And at the time, I was doing like 9 things at once at school. I was mad active that year at school. I told you, I was house captain at the time, that's sports day. If you're in Jamaica, you know sports day. And yeah, as I said, I was running up the responsibilities. I had hella responsibilities in school. See guys, I had a life before I was a bum. I'm a bum now. That's young me would look at me now and say, girl, you are a bum. All right, people, let's wheel it in now. Now that you have an understanding, once again, remember, I was running up checks. Silsy girl had to be paying these checks, but I was also running up responsibility. It all went down. It just went down. That morning, strike 1, I woke up late. Strike 2 is when she made my tea for me because she makes coffee in the morning and she knows I'll go without breakfast. So when she makes her coffee, she just make my tea right beside her. And she made my tea beside me. That morning, we were running late. So I'm not going to forget the tea. Who told me to do that? Who told me to do that? So I was greeted with the attitude first thing in the morning. Your tea's on the table. Strike 3 was the fact that she packed her own stuff in the car. I always pack her stuff and my stuff in the car. But I'm telling you guys, I'm waking up late. I'm discombobulated. I'm walking around like Stevie Wonder because the place is fuzzy because it's like 5 something in the morning. Nothing should be awake at 5 something in the morning. I pack my things in the car now, When I go back inside and when I looked in the car, I know I messed up. I knew I messed up when I saw her things in the car because that's usually my one task of the morning. Open the gate, put her things in the car. I mess up, people. I say I was greeted with a piece of attitude, you see? And when I go back inside, that was what strike. I told you that was strike 4, strike 5. I went back inside. Once again, people, it is dark. I think I bounced into the lady. That was it. That was the last straw. Seals, the girl went off.
You wake up in the morning, you don't do anything. You know you don't do anything in the morning. I do this, I wash, I clean, I cook. The least you could do is wake up.
Which she was right. I mean, I have to admit, she was right. At the time, I wouldn't admit that she was right because, pride. But at the time, I just hear somebody yelling at me. And when you start yelling at me, I shut down. I just shut down. I'm not hearing a word you're saying if you're shouting at me. But she got disgusting. I got all the adjectives that morning. I got disgusting, workless. Nah, you don't do anything. You're just lazy. I told you, I got all the adjectives under the sun that morning. The lady drew for her vocabulary that morning. My mind was not right at the time. So that morning, I had extra hair on my chest. I go take on the lady. You guys heard me? I took on my mother that morning. So then I blasted out at her, and I said, Mommy, I don't understand. If you never want a child to spend, because I'm telling you, she went into how much money she's spending. Somebody cost so much money, must get up and like I'm telling the lady, because when Caribbean parents go in at you, they don't care. It's everything goes. All things are fair play. When Caribbean parents go off on you, they go for the jugulars. Okay, they go for the jugulars, and they know what to say to cut deep. And she said some things that cut deep that morning. So people, I go off. I go, if you never want a child, you should not have a child. I told you, No, looking back, I said, the audacity of somebody who pays no bills. Because I was wrong. I know I was wrong, but she was also wrong for going off on me like. So these are 2 wrongs at the same time, but I'm wronger because I paid no bills. So I go off and say, if you never want a child, you shouldn't have had me. And if you didn't want me, then you should just give me away. And then I was like, stop taking these stresses and pressures out of me. I'm not stressing you out at work. I'm not doing this. I'm just trying to get through my day. So then the lady is like, she wanted to slap me, because once again, people, I'm running my mouth. This is my mouth. Yappa, 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 yappa. Running my mouth. I was talking I was doing a lot that morning. I was doing a lot. And it's like I forgot the mother that I had because the next thing, the lady raised her hand to slap me and I held her hand and I threw it down. Who told me to do that? I was greeted like when my mother's mad and she's screaming at me, that's fine. That's safe. But you see, when she stepped back and she goes silent for a second, you're in trouble. Oh. You're in trouble. Oh, that's when I knew I messed up, people. She stepped back and she say, oh, so you think you're big? and you can hold people hand and throw people hand and bully people in this house. Guys, I'm telling you, I wanted to say that I'm sorry, but my pride wouldn't allow me. I'm the type of person where if I'm on a hill, I have to die on the hill. So if I'm defending myself, I have to defend myself. I couldn't go back on it. So then I was like, Mommy, I would not have held your hand if you wouldn't have started shouting at me for no reason. I'm still raising my voice. So she goes, who you think you're talking to like that? I said, in my mind, like I know I mess up, but I had to just go along with it. So then she said, no, you're a big man. Don't you worry. Find somewhere to live. The lady took my duffel bag, because I had a big track bag at the time. I had my school bag and I had my igloo bag and pan. She took my duffel bag, she took my school, and she threw it out of the car. When I say people throw it out of the car, that's how I'm gonna throw today. Celia Slowly is my origin story. She's clearly the first thrower, because she flung my things out of that car, yeeted my things out of the car, and got in the car, said nothing else to me. After she yeeted my things, she wasn't even shouting at me at the time. She just yeeted my things out of the car, opened the gate, and drove off. So at that point in time, I was like, Chano, I'm homeless now. Like, I sit down with the bag, the man pan, and I was on the curb of the roadside because she locked the gate behind her. I was on the curb and I was like, no man, I mess up for real. But can't go come back home. Like, I couldn't come back home because I know where I went wrong. No, she was wrong, but I was wronger. If I was to say who was more wrong, I was wronger in that situation. Because once again, people, what bills did I pay? None. What work did I attend? Also none. And I was running the lady up a check, and I knew that. And I knew that I was stressful. But at that moment, it was about me getting my words in. And that was more important than a shelter over my head. Yeah. So now, I'm up in my feelings, come and say, boy, she's a girl, man, I don't know where to live. So then I was like, what am I going to do? I went to school today. Nobody knew what was going on. But I went to school today. I was in, I think, math class with my friends, and people could tell something was wrong with me. But eventually, I just shrugged it off. Because once again, I can't go to school and tell people that I'm homeless. At the time, I was like a big prefect. As well known in the school, I couldn't let people know what was going on, that I'm really mouthing off to my mother. So I had to keep it to myself. And I think during the day, sometimes I took intervals and I went to the bathroom and I just cried because I was like, homeless. I don't have anywhere to go. Like, I don't have anywhere to go, and I had too much pride to tell my friends what was going on. That morning, I took the bus to school, and I was in the bus looking out, just sad. Come here, say, like, I'm trying to math out my next move because I don't have anywhere to live. The lady flung out my things, as said before, and told me, find somewhere to live. The lady messaged me to ask me if I reached safe to school or if I reached the school at all. And I was determined because I wasn't going to call her. I was not going to call her and tell her I'm sorry. You mad? I told you I have to die on the hill. So by the time I get to practice now, or I think I had a free session and I went up to the summer house because sometimes we trained in our free sessions in the days. And I went up to Uncle Franz, who's my coach, my high school coach at the time. Love him, and Coach Q. Those are my to my heart. Those are my coaches from high school. And Uncle Franz called me in my office and him say, your mother asked if you reach school. So I'm say, well, I wasn't going to tell him about the situation because once again, guys, I already had my plan B as to where I was going to live. I already had my plan B. So I was going to take on life as a full-blown adult. Like, I was fully prepared to be homeless because I was like, I'm going to have to make my bed and lie in it. So no, Uncle Franz called me in my office and he's like, what happened? So I told him I'm homeless. He said, what do you mean you're homeless? I said, Uncle Franz, I'm homeless. I don't have anywhere to live. And I explained the situation to him. And he laughed. I was like, you're laughing. And I'm homeless. I don't have anywhere to go. The lady flung up my things. And he's like, what happened this morning? So then I said, Uncle Franz, I'm homeless. And then he said, no, you're not homeless. So he said, what happened? And I was like, she made me take the bus. Which in hindsight, all she did that morning was just make me take the bus and said some hurtful words. And yeah, people, I fully had it that I was homeless. So after Uncle Franz tell me, that my mother messaged him or whatever, I went back. She actually came for me that afternoon. And that car ride was so silent. It was so silent. And by the time I got home, I went into my grandmother's room and I cried. And I said, Grandma, she's not talking to me. What's it? I tell you, I had to break down because the game of pride wasn't working out for me anymore. I couldn't play the pride card. I had no pride. You know why? Because you don't have any host. If you don't have a host, you don't have pride. Like, you can't have pride. You can't have pride and be homeless. You gotta flip it. So yeah, I cried, and yeah, turns out I wasn't homeless. But yeah, guys, that was the story of how my mother kicked me out. If I'm going to leave you guys with anything from this story time, 1, don't let pride lead you to being homeless. And 2, sometimes just put your relationships before God and he'll work it out. Because honestly, at that point in time, I did not think me and my mother could have any form of relationship with everything that we were going through. And we had some rough patches, but we're actually great now. Like, we talk every single day. And she's so sweet. Probably old age wear her down. Or it's the fact that I'm not there. But my mother, love you when you see this. And I'm so sorry for airing out our business like that. Anyways, if you got to this point in the video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you if you got to this point of the story. And I'll talk to you guys later.